You're chasing something you already have. Not consciously, but somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a voice that keeps moving the finish line. It says, when I get this promotion, I'll be satisfied. When I earn this amount, I'll feel secure. When I achieve this goal, I'll be happy. But you get there, and the satisfaction lasts for about 3 days. And then the voice is back with a new target, a new requirement, a new definition of enough. So you keep chasing, keep accumulating, keep achieving, because the voice promised that enough exists, that there's a point where you'll finally feel complete, satisfied, at peace. But here's what nobody tells you. The voice is lying. Because the game you're playing is designed to be infinite. There's always more, always higher, always better. And until you recognize where enough actually is, you'll spend your entire life chasing a horizon that moves every time you get close. If you've ever achieved what you thought you wanted and felt nothing, if you've ever wondered why success doesn't feel like you thought it would, if you've ever felt like you're running on a treadmill that never stops, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about the most important decision you'll ever make. Not what to chase, but when to stop. Not how to get more, but how to recognize enough. It's called the enough point. And finding it might be the only thing that actually sets you free. Let's start by understanding the trap, the game you've been playing without realizing it. It's called the hedonic treadmill. And here's how it works. You want something, you get it. You feel good for a moment, and then your baseline resets. And now you need more to feel that same level of satisfaction. It's not just about money, though money is the clearest example. You think, if I make $50,000, I'll be comfortable. You get there, and within 6 months, you need $75,000. You get there. Now, you need $100,000, then $150,000, then $250,000. The number keeps changing, but the feeling of not enough never does. This happens with everything. Your job title, your house size, your social status, your followers, your achievements. You're on a treadmill, and the treadmill speeds up every time you adapt. So you run faster and faster, and you never actually arrive. But here's the insidious part. You think the problem is that you haven't achieved enough yet, that if you just get to the next level, that will be enough. But it won't, because the game is designed to be infinite, and you're playing by rules that were designed to keep you perpetually dissatisfied. Let me show you what I mean. There's a study where they asked people at different income levels, how much more money would you need to feel financially secure? And at every income level, from $30,000 to $3 million, the answer was the same. About 25% more than they currently have. The person making $40,000 thinks they need $50,000. The person making $200,000 thinks they need $250,000. The person making $2 million thinks they need $2.5 million. It's not about the actual number. It's about the fact that the target is always relative. It's always just out of reach by design. This is the infinite game. And if you don't consciously choose to stop playing, you'll play it until you die. Always chasing, never arriving, always wanting, never satisfied. Now let me introduce you to a different game. One that's actually winnable. One that allows you to stop and feel satisfied. Not because you've achieved everything, but because you've defined enough. It's called the enough point. And it's deceptively simple. It's the moment you consciously decide, this is sufficient. I have what I need. More would be nice, but it's not necessary. This isn't about settling. It's not about giving up on growth or ambition. It's about drawing a line that says, below this, I'm lacking. Above this, I'm playing a different game. And here's the radical part. The enough point is not determined by the market. It's not determined by what your neighbor has. It's not determined by what society says you should want. It's determined by you based on your actual needs, your actual values, your actual definition of a good life. Let me give you some examples of what finding your enough point looks like. For money, it might sound like this. I need enough to cover my basic needs, save for emergencies, and have some freedom to enjoy life. That number for me is $X. Above that, money is just a number. It doesn't improve my life in meaningful ways. For career, it might sound like this. I want to be good at what I do and feel like I'm contributing. I don't need to be the best. I don't need to be famous. I just need to feel competent and useful. That's enough. For possessions, it might sound like this. I have a home that's comfortable, clothes that fit, tools that work. I don't need more versions of things I already have. This is sufficient. Notice what's happening here. You're not saying you'll never want more. You're saying you recognize the difference between want and need, between nice to have and necessary, between more and better. And once you draw that line, once you identify your enough point, something magical happens. You stop being at the mercy of the treadmill. You stop feeling inadequate just because someone else has more. You stop chasing things you don't actually want just because the culture tells you to. You become free to choose, free to be satisfied, free to opt out of the infinite game. So how do you actually find your enough point? How do you draw the line in a world that's constantly trying to erase it? Here are 3 practices that will help you define and defend your enough. Practice 1, the subtraction test. Instead of asking, what more do I need? Ask, what could I remove and still be fine? This flips the script because the infinite game is based on addition, always adding, always accumulating, always more. But the enough point is found through subtraction, by identifying what you actually need versus what you've just accumulated. So look at your life, your possessions, your commitments, your expenses, and ask, if I remove this, would my life actually be worse, or would it just be different? You might discover that you're carrying a lot of weight that isn't actually adding value, and removing it doesn't make you less, it makes you lighter. Practice 2, the gratitude inventory. Once a week, write down everything you currently have that you once wanted. The job you have now, you used to want that. The home you live in, you used to dream about it. The relationship you're in, you used to hope for it. We have this terrible tendency to forget that we already have what we once desperately wanted. We achieve the goal, and then immediately move the goalpost. The gratitude inventory reminds you, you already arrived. You're already standing in the future you used to dream about. And if you can't feel satisfied here, you won't feel satisfied anywhere. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing when you have enough so that you can stop the endless chase. Practice 3, the enough declaration. This is the hardest one because it requires you to go public with your enough point. Choose one area of your life and declare, this is enough. I'm not chasing more in this domain. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's career advancement. Maybe it's possessions. Maybe it's social status. And then when opportunities arise to get more in that domain, you consciously decline. Not because you can't, but because you've already decided you have enough. This feels terrifying because the culture will tell you you're crazy, that you're leaving value on the table, that you're settling. But you're not settling, you're choosing. And there's a massive difference. Settling is accepting less than what you need. Choosing enough is recognizing when you have what you need and refusing to let the culture tell you it's not sufficient. Let me tell you what happens when you find your enough point. At first, you'll doubt yourself. You'll see other people achieving more, earning more, accumulating more, and you'll wonder if you made a mistake, if you gave up too early, if you're missing out. But then something shifts. You realize you're not anxious anymore, not in that deep gnawing way, because you're not constantly measuring yourself against an infinite target. You realize you have time that used to be consumed by chasing more, time you can now invest in things that actually matter. Relationships, creativity, rest, presence. You realize you're grateful, not in a forced, performative way, but genuinely because you can see what you have instead of only seeing what you lack. And you realize you're free from the treadmill, free from the comparison, free from the voice that says you'll be happy when you get there, because you're already there. You've already arrived. And this right here is enough. Here's what I need you to understand. The world will never tell you that you have enough. It's not in the world's interest for you to stop wanting. So you have to decide for yourself. You have to draw the line. You have to say, this is sufficient. This is my enough. And when you do, you'll discover something radical. The thing you've been chasing isn't more success. It's not more money. It's not more achievement. It's peace. And peace doesn't come from having more. It comes from recognizing when you have enough. So stop chasing the horizon. Stop moving the goalpost. Stop playing the infinite game. Find your enough point. Declare it. Defend it. And discover what it feels like to finally arrive. The enough point is waiting. Now go find it.